Introduction. Confidence is not a gift. It is not the swagger of the loud, nor the mask of the proud. True confidence is built slowly, forged in the fire of challenge, loss, and self-confrontation. This book is not about faking it or performing strength for others. It is about rebuilding yourself from the inside out, layer by layer, moment by moment, until your sense of identity stands unshakable no matter what life throws at you. Unshakable confidence comes from ruthless equanimity. It means being soft-hearted but tough-minded. It means standing your ground in the wild chaos of life, not by dominating but by mastering your own inner storms. This audiobook is not theory. Every chapter is full of stories, practical methods, and tools you can use right away. You will discover exactly why self-doubt takes root and how weak identity forms. You'll see how confidence is built and how it's lost. You'll confront the inner critic, rewrite your story, and learn the discipline of self-respect. You'll face your fears head-on, stop chasing approval, and learn to recover after mistakes with dignity. You'll build mental toughness, not as armor, but as living proof of your ability to withstand challenge, chaos, and pain. Every step of the journey is designed to be practical, clear, and transformative. You'll learn how to become truly unbreakable, not by hiding weakness, but by making peace with it, rising strong and never giving away your power again. This isn't positive thinking or motivational fluff. This is stoicism with teeth. You'll learn how to rebuild yourself, step into your new identity, and walk through storms with a calm mind and an indestructible spirit. By the end of this book, you will know how weak identity makes you the enemy of your own confidence, the specific ways confidence is built and destroyed, how to rewrite your life story and rebuild your sense of self, the discipline that makes self-respect possible every single day, tools for overcoming fear, doubt, mistakes, and setbacks, why internal validation is not optional, and how to stop needing approval, how to embody mental toughness as your lifelong shield, and finally, how to become truly unbreakable, your new identity forged by honest struggle and self-leadership. This book is your guide. The journey is yours. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Weak Identity, Why You Don't Trust Yourself 1. Micro-story. Jake stands in front of the bathroom mirror. His hands shake slightly as he buttons his shirt for yet another interview. Deep inside, the old voices swirl. He remembers last week when he stammered under pressure, felt like a fraud, and watched his interviewer's interest flicker away. The memory bites. "You'll mess this up," echoes the voice in his head. Jake scrolls his phone for motivation, but the words feel distant. At work, colleagues seem confident, relaxed, always at ease, while he waits for someone to expose the real him as unworthy. Even small decisions feel heavy. What to say next, whether to speak up, how to respond when someone disagrees. His identity is fragile, built on doubts and the hope that no one will notice. Jake wishes for confidence, but instead fights invisible battles against anxiety, self-doubt, and the gnawing suspicion that he will never measure up. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Weak identity is the invisible root of low self-confidence. When you don't trust yourself, every decision feels risky. Every glance, every comment, every mistake is a potential threat. Why does this happen? Weak identity is shaped by early experiences, criticism, neglect, abandonment, praise given only for perfection, or love withdrawn after failure. The nervous system learns, sometimes without words, that worth is always conditional. You internalize the idea that your value is fragile, temporary, and must be constantly proved. When your identity is weak, your inner dialogue becomes harsh and unpredictable. Thoughts like, "I'm not enough. Soon everyone will see my flaws. If I make a mistake, I'll lose everything. My opinions don't matter." I should be someone else. This creates an unstable foundation, one that can't sustain confidence under pressure. You look for validation externally, praise, approval, reassurance. But these are unreliable sources. In stressful situations, weak identity leads to chronic overthinking, fear of criticism, difficulty making and sticking to decisions, avoidance of challenges, people-pleasing, or constant agreement. The mind tries to predict and avoid pain, but this shrinks your world. Relationships suffer as you struggle to assert boundaries, fearing rejection. Career choices feel impossible without external permission. Friendships become minefields of self-doubt. Deep inside, identity is the answer to two questions. Who am I when nobody is watching? And am I allowed to exist as myself? When you cannot answer with confidence, every experience leaves cracks in your sense of self. Rebuilding identity begins with ruthless honesty and self-observation. You learn to see these doubts not as facts, but as echoes from your past. This process demands emotional resilience and the willingness to face discomfort. No shortcuts, no sugarcoating. But here is the truth. Identity is not set in stone. It can be rebuilt, strengthened, and reclaimed, no matter where you start. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships. You avoid saying what you really think, afraid your partner will lose interest or criticize you. Family. Parents compare you to siblings, reinforcing the belief that you're not good enough on your own. Career. You hesitate to apply for promotions or new projects, doubting you belong at a higher level. Friendships. You agree with the group, even when you disagree, worried about being excluded or judged. Inner dialogue. After every social interaction, you replay the conversation, hunting for mistakes and signs of disapproval. Social stress. At a crowded event, you feel invisible, convinced you have nothing valuable to add. 4. Scripts. What to say. I am allowed to speak my truth. Mistakes do not erase my worth. My opinions matter even if others disagree. I respect myself even when I feel uncertain. I do not need permission to exist as myself. The past does not define my future. I trust my decisions. Validation begins with me. I am learning to stand tall even when I feel weak. Confidence is built, not given. It's okay to be imperfect and visible. I release the need to be flawless. Each day I choose to respect myself. 5. Practical exercises. Journaling. Prompt. Write about 3 moments in your life when you felt invisible or not enough. What did you learn about your identity in those moments? How do those lessons serve you now? Mirror exercise. Stand before a mirror each morning and state out loud, I am allowed to take up space in every room. I am enough to be seen, heard, and respected. Identity timeline. Sketch your identity story from childhood to now. Note moments when you trusted yourself and moments when you doubted. What patterns do you notice? Exposure drill. Speak up once each day in a situation that feels risky. Share an opinion, ask for something, or refuse a request. Reflect afterward on how you feel and what changed. Identity script training. Pick 3 empowering scripts from above and repeat them internally when feeling weak or uncertain. Anchor these words into your daily routine. Chapter 2. How confidence is formed and destroyed. 1 micro story. Sasha stands on the edge of the diving board, toes curled, knees shaking. Below, the pool glimmers with promise and risk. Her friends cheer from the sidelines. "You can do it!" someone shouts, but her mind replays every stumble and slip from the past. A decade earlier in grade school, Sasha was laughed at for falling during a race. From that day, she stopped volunteering, stopped believing she could take risks without judgment. Now her heart pounds. A battle between the urge to jump and the voice whispering, "Don't embarrass yourself again." She takes a breath. This is not just a leap into water, but a test of faith in herself. With shaky resolve, she finally jumps. The impact is cold and shocking, but she surfaces to clapping and laughter, her own, most of all. For the first time in years, she feels something shift. Confidence blooming, not from perfection, but from action. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Confidence is not a fixed trait. It is a dynamic state built and broken many times through life's challenges. Understanding how confidence is formed and destroyed is fundamental to reclaiming it. Confidence is shaped by 3 major forces. Early experiences. Encouragement leads to risk-taking, while criticism or ridicule seeds fear. Repeated action. Each time you act, you either build a brick of trust in yourself or erode one with avoidance. Internal dialogue. The meaning you assign to failure or success shapes future willingness to try. When confidence forms, it happens in small, regular increments. Tiny victories, acknowledged and repeated, create a sense of self-trust over time. This is earned confidence, not bravado. Each time you step forward despite discomfort, the nervous system learns, "I survived. I can do it again." Supportive coaches, teachers, or friends who highlight process, "Look how you improved," rather than only outcome, "You won," or "You lost," teach you to see growth through effort. Confidence is destroyed in equally systematic fashion. Punishing mistakes with shame. Withholding encouragement or only praising achievement. Comparing to others instead of celebrating unique progress. Amplifying criticism while ignoring strengths. Interpreting setbacks as proof of inadequacy, not steps along the path. Children and adults alike absorb the outer world's feedback, then internalize these messages as their own. "I can" becomes "I must always succeed," or worse, "I can't." The result? Fear of risk, shrinking aspirations, brittle self-worth hinging on performance. Social environments sharpen or dull this process. Bullies, perfectionistic parents, anxiety-ridden peer groups, all can wire the psyche for doubt. Conversely, a community of honest support and realistic encouragement strengthens inner resolve. Crucially, confidence is destroyed not just by others, but by your own self-talk. Self-critical loops, mental comparisons, bracing for rejection, or replaying old incidents, all eat away at trust like erosion scouring a riverbank. To reverse this, you must learn to celebrate small wins, not just big ones. Reframe mistakes as lessons, not verdicts. Practice confidence as a behavior, not a feeling. Choose a community that celebrates genuine effort. Confidence can always be rebuilt. The first step is noticing how it is made or broken every day, by choices, words, and tiny acts of courage. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships. You hesitate to bring up needs or feelings, fearing you'll be dismissed or shamed, so you remain silent. And the silence erodes intimacy and confidence. Family, parents, or relatives only praise visible success, first place, and criticize mistakes, making you afraid to try new things and always second-guess achievement. Career. After negative feedback at work, you begin avoiding new projects, doubting your abilities, letting a single setback snowball into chronic self-doubt. Friendships. When friends make jokes at your expense, you laugh along on the outside but shrink inside, eventually withdrawing from group activities. Inner dialogue. After failing at a new skill or challenge, your mind says, "Of course you failed. What did you expect?" Making the next attempt feel pointless. Social stressful situations. Public speaking prompts anxiety not from the act itself, but from memories of stumbling, freezing, or being mocked in front of others. 4. Scripts. What to say. Every step I take is a step forward, even if imperfect. Mistakes show that I'm growing, not that I'm failing. My confidence grows with action, not just outcome. I will not measure myself by one moment's result. I choose to focus on progress, not just perfection. It's safe to try, even when I'm afraid. Encouragement is a skill I practice for myself. I'm responsible for recognizing my effort, not waiting for others' praise. Setbacks are feedback, not facts about my worth. I earn confidence by doing, not by waiting to feel ready. My journey is my own. Comparison only distracts me. It's okay to start small and celebrate small wins. Even when doubt whispers, I can still act. 5 practical exercises. Micro-victory journal. Each evening, write down 3 small actions you took that required courage or effort. Celebrate each as a win, no matter how minor. Failure reframe drill. After any mistake, write a paragraph answering, "What did I learn? What courage did I show by trying?" Community audit. Make a list of people who encourage growth versus those who reinforce self-doubt. Consider how to increase time with the supportive group. Confidence behavior training. Identify one thing each week you avoid due to fear of failure or embarrassment. Then take a small step toward it, regardless of outcome. Encouragement script practice. Each morning, pick 2 scripts from above and repeat them 10 times aloud, imagining how you'd say them to a friend in need. Chapter 3. The Inner Critic, the Enemy in Your Head. 1. Micro-story. Under dim morning light, Priya stares at the email she wrote late last night. It's to her boss, nothing out of the ordinary, just a status update. Yet now, doubt floods in. What if my tone was wrong? Did I miss a typo? Maybe she'll think I'm incompetent. Priya's chest tightens. Childhood memories of being scolded for small mistakes resurface. She relives moments where she felt not good enough, where her efforts never quite measured up. She deletes, rewrites, and still cannot quiet the voice. You're always messing up. Why can't you get it right the first time? She knows the voice well. It's relentless, precise, and cruel, pointing out every misstep, minimizing every win. Priya wants to move on, but the critic won't let go. Later, when her boss replies kindly, Priya can barely feel relief. Her mind is already picking apart the next thing. The critic is never satisfied. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. The inner critic is the saboteur living in every mind. Born from early experiences, criticism, comparison, conditional love, it becomes the internalized voice of judges past and present. Over time, it assumes the tone of authority, a parent, a teacher, a bully, or sometimes your own voice, twisted into self-attack. This critic thrives on shame and perfectionism. Its mission, to prevent embarrassment or rejection by preemptively attacking perceived flaws. If I punish myself first, it reasons, I'll stay safe from others' judgment. But the critic's cost is steep. It erodes self-esteem, breeding chronic anxiety and hesitation. It distorts perception, focusing only on failure, never progress. It keeps you small. By amplifying every flaw, the critic protects you by discouraging risk, growth, and visibility. Behaviorally, the critic's influence shows up as over-apologizing and over-preparing, avoidance of new opportunities for fear of ridicule, reluctance to celebrate successes. Don't get cocky, you'll mess up soon. Harsh self-judgment after mistakes. I'm so stupid, I always ruin things. Discomfort with praise, turning it into further doubt. They're just being nice, if only they knew. The critic's ultimate weapon is self-doubt. It may sound like tough love. I'm just keeping myself accountable. But it's actually a fear-based defense. Better to self-sabotage than be caught off guard. What keeps the critic alive? Repetition, unchecked rumination, lack of alternative voices, and a misunderstanding. People assume self-bullying will make them stronger. In reality, it only deepens insecurity. To disarm the inner critic, you must catch its voice in real time, understand its origin and intention, practice compassionate self-talk and evidence-based rebuttals, allow imperfection without tying it to self-worth. This takes time and deliberate work, but every challenge to the critic is a brick laid in confidence. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationships. You replay every conflict, convinced you said the wrong thing or failed to support your partner perfectly. Family parental comparisons or why didn't you? Linger as guilt trips in your adult mind, warping your self-assessment. Career. After constructive feedback, you obsess over every minor error, unable to see the bigger picture. Friendships. When included, you question if you truly belong. When left out, you assume it's proof of being unwanted. Inner dialogue. The critic whispers, "Don't try, you'll just confirm you're a failure," whenever new opportunities arise. Social, stressful situations. In group settings, you shrink or overcompensate, desperate not to embarrass yourself. 4 scripts, what to say. I hear my critic. I choose not to obey. That's an old tape, not my current reality. I can make mistakes and still be worthy. Perfection is not required. Progress is enough. My faults are human, not fatal. This is self-sabotage. I respond with self-support. No one is flawless, and that includes me. Growth comes from learning, not beating myself up. I permit myself to try and sometimes to fail. Thank you, critic, but I've got this now. I will not bully myself on behalf of others. I choose to be my own ally, not an enemy. 5. Practical exercises. Critic Awareness Journal. For 1 week, jot down each moment your critic appears. What triggered it? What did it say? What feeling followed? Rewriting the script. For each critic statement, craft a supportive rebuttal, e.g., critic, you always screw up. Response, I learn and grow from every mistake. Inner mentor. Visualization. Imagine a wise, supportive figure, real or fictional, speaking to you in moments of doubt. What would they say? Compassionate letter. Write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a best friend or mentor, addressing struggles with gentle advice. Imperfection exposure. Deliberately make small mistakes, e.g., send a casual, not perfect email or go slightly off script in conversation. Afterwards, reflect. What happened? Did the world end? Chapter 4. Rewriting Identity. Becoming Someone New. 1. Micro-story. Amir stands alone one rainy evening and wonders if life will always feel like a rerun. He's known for being shy, the quiet one since childhood. His friends reinforce it. You're not a risk-taker. Family members assign roles. You've always been the reliable supporter, not the leader. Last week, Amir watched someone confidently lead a meeting and felt an ache, a desire to step up, but a belief he can't. Yet that night, something shifts. He picks up his old journal and scribbles for the first time the words, I am not just background. The next day, he volunteers to organize a small community event. Fear is loud, but his intention drowns the old scripts. New feedback comes, you're a natural. I never thought you'd take charge. Amir's sense of self reshapes with every new choice. For the first time, he sees a future built by courage and action, not just labels from the past. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Identity is a living thing, not a fixed trait, but a fluid story that evolves with decisions, experiences, and self-perception. The world tries to freeze you in place. Labels, childhood roles, past failures, and the feedback of peers. But every day you choose which part of your story to reinforce and which to rewrite. Rewriting identity requires 3 interwoven processes. 1. Challenging old scripts. Noticing the ingrained narratives. I'm always anxious, I never lead, I'm not creative, and asking, who gave me this role? Does it still serve me? 2. Deliberate action. New identity forms through new behavior. Each time you act outside your comfort zone, you send a signal to your nervous system. Change is possible. 3. Evidence gathering. You must see and acknowledge small wins. The mind craves results. Every success, no matter how minor, feeds new beliefs. The forces holding you back are powerful. The pull of habit. I always freeze in groups. Confirmation bias. Only looking for proof you can't change. Fear of rejection. Losing identity can seem like losing connection. Family, friends, and workplaces may resist your change. Stay in your lane, they signal, sometimes explicitly. But the boundary between past and future identity is always open. You must learn to grieve old versions of yourself, thanking them for their role, then respectfully moving on. To embrace discomfort as the price for growth. To persist when your environment tries to correct you back to the norm. Rewriting identity means showing up differently, even if no one else believes you at first. Over time, consistent new behavior reshapes how others see you and, more importantly, how you see yourself. Your emotions, habits, relationships, and self-talk are updated with every action. The process is not linear. It will be rocky, uncertain, sometimes lonely. But once you claim the right to reinvent yourself, no voice, internal or external, can override your choices. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationships. You set a boundary for the first time and your partner resists, saying, "You've changed." You hold your ground, showing the new you. Family. At a reunion, you speak up in discussions, contrary to your quiet role, and handle disagreement calmly. Career. You volunteer for a project outside your expertise, taking calculated risks and learning new skills along the way. Friendships. You start declining invitations that drain your energy, prioritizing self-care and personal growth. Inner dialogue. After a social interaction, you catch yourself thinking, "That felt different. I'm proud I showed up as myself." Social stressful situations. In a group setting, you initiate a conversation challenging the background label. 4. Scripts, what to say. The story I choose about myself is mine to write. Roles are helpful for a time, but do not define my future. Discomfort is a sign I'm growing into someone new. Every new action is a vote for my future self. Past behavior is information, not identity. I give myself permission to evolve and change. What served me yesterday may not serve me today. I am allowed to outgrow my environment. Growth can make others uncomfortable, and that's okay. I am more than my history or others' labels. Small changes add up to a transformed self. I can both honor my past and move forward. 5. Practical exercises. Role reflection. List 3 roles you've been assigned since childhood. For each, journal whether you still identify with it. Write 1 sentence about how you'd like to grow beyond it. New action commitment. Each week, choose 1 behavior that challenges your old identity. Speak up, take a lead, try a new skill, set a boundary. Identity board. Create a visual collage, digital or paper, of words, images, and phrases describing your future self. Place somewhere you'll see daily. Feedback audit. Notice how friends, family react to your new choices. Are they supportive, resistant, indifferent? Reflect on how their responses affect your resolve. Self-compassion. Letter. Write a letter to your old self, appreciating what you learned, forgiving past mistakes, and welcoming your emerging identity. Idam, Chapter 5, The Discipline of Self-Respect. Micro story: Valentina always gave in. At work, her colleagues dumped extra tasks on her, confident she would never refuse. In her family, her opinions vanished under the weight of louder voices. She apologized for things that weren't her fault, said yes when she meant no, and constantly bent to avoid upsetting others. Last month, after another exhausting week, Valentina found herself crying in the car, feeling empty and invisible. Something broke. She realized she had spent too long abandoning her own needs for peace that never came. That night, she made a small promise: to speak her truth kindly, to set boundaries even when others disliked it, and to let herself count. The next day, she declined an unreasonable request at work. The reaction was negative, but Valentina walked away proud, her self-respect alive for the first time. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Self-respect is not a feeling. It's a daily practice, a discipline that must be chosen again and again, especially under pressure. It grows from the smallest decisions, refusing to let others violate your boundaries, honoring your word to yourself, standing up for your needs without apology. Lack of self-respect is the root of many confidence problems. When you don't respect yourself, you accept mistreatment, enable disrespect, and validate other people's low standards for you. You abandon your own truth, believing harmony is more important than honesty. Why do so many struggle with this? Conditioning to be nice or agreeable. Pressure to please authority figures or family. Fear that respect will lead to rejection or conflict. Belief that self-sacrifice is noble or morally superior, but self-respect is not selfishness. It's rooted in honoring your time, energy, and values. Demanding fair treatment, first from yourself, then from others. Closing the gap between what you tolerate and what you actually want. The discipline of self-respect is saying no when necessary, refusing to explain or defend your boundaries endlessly, treating your own needs as valid, even if they inconvenience others, accepting that disappointment or opposition is not fatal. Over time, self-respect becomes a feedback loop. Every boundary held builds confidence, and every time you betray your needs, self-doubt grows. People react, sometimes with anger, sometimes with respect. You learn, those who truly value you will adjust. Those who only valued compliance will fall away. Self-respect is the invisible backbone of identity. It's built by action, not aspiration. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships. You calmly refuse unfair demands from your partner, even when they sulk or protest. Family. You speak honestly about your plans and wishes, refusing to hide your real intentions out of fear of family drama. Career. You turn down unpaid overtime or push back on unmanageable workloads, prioritizing your health and integrity. Friendships. You express discomfort when friends cross your boundaries, even if it creates tension. Inner dialogue. After holding a boundary, you remind yourself, I honor my needs, rather than feeling guilty. Social stressful situations. At a party, you decline an offer that doesn't fit your values without feeling embarrassed or obligated to explain. 4. Scripts, what to say. I respect myself enough to say no. My boundaries matter, even if they're inconvenient for others. I choose honesty over harmony. I am allowed to disappoint people. My time and energy are valuable. No is a complete sentence. It's not my job to make everyone comfortable at my own expense. I can be kind without being compliant. I will not apologize for honoring my needs. I trust my intuition and my limits. Real connection is built on mutual respect. I am responsible for my own well-being. I deserve fair treatment. 5. Practical exercises. Boundary diary. Each day, record one situation where you either respected or betrayed your own boundaries. What happened? How did you feel? Assertiveness. Drill. Practice saying no or expressing an opinion in low-risk situations. Notice resistance and reward yourself for follow-through. Needs inventory. Write down your top 5 personal needs for the week. Commit to honoring each, tracking progress and obstacles. Reframe guilt. When feeling guilty for self-respect, write the reason for the guilt and a counter-argument that affirms your values. Self-respect ritual. Once per day, do something, however small, that makes you proud to be you. Reflect on the emotions that come up. Chapter 6. Overcoming fear, doubt, and hesitation. Micro story. Lucas stands at the podium, sweat beading on his forehead. The auditorium is half full, faces blurred in dim light. He stares at his notes, fighting the urge to escape. He's wanted to speak publicly for years, but each time he tried, fear won. Milliseconds stretch into minutes as doubt paints scenarios of failure, blanking out, being laughed at, disappointing his mentors. He recalls every time he hesitated, saying no to possibilities, avoiding risk, hiding behind "I'm not ready." Tonight, though, Lucas takes a breath and starts. The first words shake, but the room listens. Sentence by sentence, he diffuses fear by moving through it, not around it. He finishes, voice strong, surprised by the applause. The lesson sinks in. Fear shrinks only when faced head-on. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Fear, doubt, and hesitation are universal blocks to confidence, often woven together by the brain's threat detection system. Fear is the body's response to perceived danger, physical, social, or emotional. Doubt is the mind's narrative that you aren't capable or worthy. Hesitation is the paralysis between wanting and acting, a protective strategy in uncertain situations. These forces work together. Fear triggers stress responses, quickened heartbeat, tension, urge to flee or fight. Doubt amplifies anxiety, generating reasons to avoid or delay. Hesitation keeps you stuck, not moving forward but not fully safe either. Why do they dominate? Negative memories. Past failure or embarrassment live vividly in mind, distorting future risk assessment. Conditioning. Feedback from others. Don't screw up. Are you sure you're ready? Trains you to prioritize safety over progress. Perfectionism. Fear of imperfection creates a zero-risk mindset that avoids any chance of failure. When unchecked, these reactions sabotage opportunities for growth, prevent you from building and testing confidence, deepen self-doubt, and reinforce avoidance cycles. Most people try to wait for fear to disappear or for total readiness before acting. This rarely happens. Overcoming fear means accepting its presence and moving forward anyway. Action is the antidote to anxiety, not because you're guaranteed to succeed, but because you prove your own resilience. Every act of crossing your edge, asking for feedback, starting a new project, having a tough conversation, teaches your brain a new script. Fear is not fatal and action is possible. Doubt cannot be argued away with logic alone. It must be challenged by evidence. Small risks, small wins, small courage. Hesitation shrinks when you reframe danger as learning and allow yourself to risk imperfection for the sake of growth. The discipline of overcoming fear is daily. Preparation, reflection, gradual exposure, and self-compassion. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships. You hesitate to express feelings or set boundaries, fearing conflict or rejection. Family. Attempts to try something new are met with, "Are you sure?" statements, fueling doubt and hesitation. Career. You procrastinate applying for a new role, giving in to the voice that says you're not qualified. Friendships. You avoid initiating plans, doubting whether you're truly wanted or interesting. Inner dialogue. Before acting, a mental loop starts. What if I fail? What if I look foolish? so you decide to wait. Social stressful situations. At a group event, you remain silent, afraid to stand out or make a mistake. 4. Scripts. What to say. Fear is a sign I'm on the edge of growth. I can act before I feel totally ready. Every small risk trains my courage. Hesitation is normal, but action is my choice. It's okay to feel fear and move forward anyway. I trust myself to handle what comes. Doubt is part of learning, not proof of inability. Perfection is not my goal, progress is. I am allowed to try and to learn. The only way past fear is through it. I choose movement over paralysis. Mistakes are feedback, not threats. I will not wait for permission to act. 5. Practical exercises. Fear inventory. List 3 things you're avoiding due to fear or doubt. For each, write what you imagine will happen if you try, and 1 thing that could go well. Exposure ladder. Break a big challenge into small steps. Start with the easiest and gradually move up, reflecting after each step on what was learned. Hesitation. Reframe. When you notice yourself hesitating, say out loud, "This is fear, not a stop sign." Then take 1 small action. Send the email. Speak up. Take the first step. Courage training journal. After any act of courage, record what happened, how you felt, and what surprised you. Visualization practice. Close your eyes and imagine moving through fear, not around it. Picture yourself completing the action, feeling proud, learning regardless of outcome. Chapter 7. Internal validation. Stop needing approval. 1. Micro story. Isabella checks her phone anxiously, waiting for anyone to comment on her latest project post. At work, she hesitates to voice her ideas unless a manager nods first. In friendships, she's the glue, always available, always the first to apologize even when she's not at fault. If others don't respond warmly or offer praise, waves of insecurity wash over her. One afternoon, a mentor quietly asks, "What do you actually want?" Isabella can't answer. She's so attuned to approval that her own needs feel invisible. That night, she sits alone, drafting a list titled, "What I Admire in Myself." The silence feels uncomfortable, even rebellious. But as the list grows, Isabella feels something shift. For the first time, she glimpses a path to self-worth that no one else can give or take away. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Humans are wired for connection and approval. Evolution taught us to survive by fitting in. But chronic dependence on external validation erodes confidence and self-trust. Approval-seeking becomes a trap. You chase compliments, likes, or smiles as proof of value. You say yes when you mean no, fearing disapproval. You edit your personality to fit the room, even if it means hiding your real self. Why do we get stuck here? Early experiences matter. Praise and love withheld or made conditional. Good job. Only after success. I'm proud when you're perfect. Wire the psyche for approval addiction. Trauma, bullying, or unpredictable authority further root the need to earn acceptance. Social media amplifies the cycle. Instant feedback loops create highs and lows, making you crave the dopamine of acknowledgement. In adulthood, the consequences are exhaustion, anxiety, and weak boundaries. Externally dependent self-worth is always fragile. It requires you to be constantly watchful. Did I say the right thing? Was that okay? When approval doesn't come, your confidence collapses. Internal validation, by contrast, is built on clear values and standards for yourself. Private pride and effort regardless of outcome. Honest self-assessment, celebrating wins, owning mistakes, and seeing yourself as more than a moment or mood. You free yourself by regularly turning inward for support, building an inner voice that is fair, kind, and consistent. Internal validation doesn't mean arrogance or isolation. It means recognizing your own light so you don't beg for it from others. Learning to validate yourself is a slow practice. It starts with noticing the urge to seek approval, then replacing it with conscious encouragement and honest self-regard. Over time, calm confidence replaces the frantic hunt for affirmation. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationships. You measure your worth by your partner's affection or comments. When they're upset, you question your value. Family. Approval is given only for achievement, making love feel conditional and self-doubt chronic. Career. You defer to authority figures even when you have strong ideas, fearing disagreement will cost you respect. Friendships. You change opinions or plans to keep others happy, worried about confrontation or rejection. Inner dialogue. After any action, your first thought is, was that good enough for them? Social stressful situations. You avoid risks without a safety net of approval, missing opportunities that aren't guaranteed wins. 4 scripts. What to say. My value is not up for a vote. I can be proud of myself, no audience required. I respect my own opinion first. Praise is nice but not needed for my direction. My self-worth does not depend on approval. I trust my process even if no one celebrates it. It's safe to validate myself. Others' moods don't control my confidence. I honor my wins, big or small. I don't chase applause, I build self-trust. Validation is something I give, not beg for. Disagreement does not threaten my identity. Approval is optional, not essential. 5 practical exercises. Self-admiration. Write 5 qualities or achievements you deeply admire in yourself without referencing others' praise or acknowledgement. Daily private win. Each day do one thing, large or small, just for the pride of effort. Record your feelings about it before anyone gives feedback. Approval fast. For 24 hours, avoid asking for or checking approval, texts, social media, reassurance seeking. Journal your experiences and what you learn about your internal voice. Values clarification. List your top 5 values. For each, write how you know you're living it, regardless of anyone else's opinion. Inward encouragement. When tempted to seek approval, pause and offer yourself direct praise or support. Anchor this habit with a physical gesture, a hand on your heart, a smile in the mirror. Chapter 8. Recovering after mistakes and failure. 1. Micro story. Gabriel sits in his empty apartment staring at the email. We regret to inform you. He's failed the interview for his dream job. The room feels colder, heavier. Memories flood in, past setbacks, academic fumbles, business ideas that didn't fly. Tonight, the shame is almost physical. Friends offer well-meaning advice, but Gabriel replays every misstep, convinced he's just not cut out for success. He cancels plans, stopped calling people back. A week later, after a long, aimless walk, Gabriel sits down and reviews what actually happened. For the first time, he lists what he did right, what he learned, where he stayed true to his values. He sends a thank you email to the interviewers, starts researching new paths, reaches out for feedback. As weeks pass, Gabriel's resilience awakens. Not as denial, but as clear-eyed self-respect. Each recovery makes him stronger. Failure is no longer an ending, but a skill. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. No one escapes mistakes and failure. Real confidence is forged in your response to them. Yet most people are never taught how to recover in a way that builds resilience rather than self-doubt. The pain of failure is not just about an event, but about deeply rooted beliefs. I failed, so I am a failure. People will see me as less. Mistakes mean I'm not good enough. Such beliefs are fueled by perfectionism, seeing only 2 outcomes, flawless success or total defeat. Shame conditioning, childhood punishments or ridicule after errors. Social comparison, seeing others' highlight reels while measuring your own behind the scenes. Most people react to failure in one of three ways. Denial, refusing to see or process the mistake. It wasn't my fault. Rumination, obsessing over every detail, reliving shame forever. Avoidance, letting fear of mistakes shrink future risks. Recovery begins with reframing. Mistakes are normal, feedback-rich, and survivable. Self-respect is maintained by distinguishing between behavior and identity. You are not your last error. The recovery process requires honest assessment. What actually happened versus what you fear happened. Compassion. Treating yourself like a best friend or coach would. Learning orientation. Using failures as data, not as evidence of impotence. Community. Sharing, seeking support, facing vulnerability with trusted people. Repeated recovery builds anti-fragility. The more you endure and process failure, the stronger your confidence becomes. It is this cycle, fall, learn, rise, that forges unshakable resilience. 3 real-life scenarios, relationships. After a heated argument, you take accountability for your contribution, apologize genuinely, and focus on repair rather than self-punishment. Family. After disappointing parents or children, instead of hiding, you initiate honest conversations and clarify your intentions. Career. Losing a job or blowing a chance at promotion, you seek feedback. Focus on what's within your control and map out new options. Friendships. When you inadvertently hurt a friend, you confront the issue openly instead of disappearing in shame. Inner dialogue. You replace old scripts, "I always screw up," with self-coaching. What can I learn from this and what's my next step? Social stressful situations. After embarrassing yourself publicly, you gracefully acknowledge it, learn what you can, and move on. 4. Scripts. What to say. I made a mistake and I am still enough. This is feedback, not a verdict on my worth. I am allowed to fail and to recover. Learning requires falling and rising again and again. What matters is my next step, not my last. I face mistakes with honesty, not denial. I'm grateful for what this teaches me about myself. Failure is a chapter, not the whole story. Every recovery strengthens me. I can apologize and grow without shame. Setbacks are part of my progress, not the opposite. It's okay to feel pain and to look forward. I treat myself kindly, especially when I trip. 5 practical exercises. Mistake debrief. After any failure, write down what happened factually, what you learned and what you would try differently next time. Self-compassion. Drill. When shame arises, place a hand over your heart, breathe deeply, and repeat 3 supportive scripts from above. Accountability practice. Apologize sincerely for a recent mistake, focusing on your actions, not your identity. Notice the relief and restoration. Normalization. Reflection. Research or journal about a role model who failed publicly and recovered. Reflect on what made their comeback possible. Failure gratitude list. For each past mistake, list something you gained. New skill, connection, perspective, or insight. Chapter 9. Building mental toughness. Micro story. Cameron wakes before dawn, driven by a dream that never dies, qualifying for the national cycling team. He's lost races, faced rejection, injured his knee. Each setback brutal, each day a test. His friends admire his dedication but secretly wonder how he keeps going. In truth, Cameron's mental grit was forged by hardship, a tough childhood, relentless criticism, moments of private despair. Today it rains. Harsh winds cut the track. He trains anyway. As pain surges, doubts whisper, "Why bother?" But Cameron has learned, toughness is not the absence of struggle, it's the decision to keep showing up. After the session, he logs his times with quiet satisfaction. Victory is in his discipline, not the medal. Cameron's mind cannot be intimidated or broken. He is defined by relentless, purposeful resilience. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Mental toughness is the ability to endure, adapt, and thrive under stress, challenge, and adversity. It's the backbone of confidence, the difference between those who rise and those who crumble when life gets rough. Toughness is built, not born. Genetics play a role, but the foundation is laid brick by brick. Repeated exposure to discomfort, commitment to difficult goals, and relentless self-discipline. The psychology behind toughness is fourfold. Emotional regulation. Responding to stress with composure rather than panic or avoidance. Persistence. Continuing effort despite setbacks, boredom, fatigue, or lack of visible progress. Optimism. Seeing adversity as temporary and surmountable. Learning from losses. Purpose. Anchoring every hardship in a larger mission, vision, or set of values. What destroys toughness? Overprotection. When life is too easy, resilience atrophies. Chronic avoidance. Dodging discomfort means never training for hard situations. Fixed mindset. Believing abilities and character are set in stone so setbacks feel final, not instructive. Victimhood. Seeing oneself as eternally subject to outside forces without agency or responsibility. Practically, mental toughness shows up as consistency, training, learning, or leading even when it's hard or unrewarded. Rapid recovery, bouncing back quickly after failure or distress. Calm under chaos, responding not reacting to unpredictability. Ownership, taking responsibility for emotional and practical outcomes, refusing to blame or pass the buck. Developing toughness requires training. It's not about never feeling doubt or pain, but about making decisions and taking action anyway. Habits, daily effort, reflection, adversity exposure compound over time, creating a resilient mind that can weather any storm. Remember, toughness is quiet. It's often unseen by others, measured only by your perseverance and refusal to abandon your values when pressured. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships. You maintain clarity and boundaries during heated arguments, choosing respect over defensiveness or retreat. Family. When facing family drama, you choose constructive dialogue or withdrawal, not drama escalation or passive compliance. Career. After repeated setbacks or rejection, you continue pursuing your goals, adapting strategy but staying committed. Friendships. You support loved ones while holding your ground, balancing empathy with self-respect. Inner dialogue. The voice inside you shifts from why me to what now? How do I move forward? Social stressful situations. In chaotic or high-pressure circumstances, you breathe, center yourself, and act from principle, not emotion. 4. Scripts, what to say. Difficulty is my training ground. I don't shy away from discomfort. I persist through setbacks. Pain is temporary. My character is permanent. I am defined by how I respond, not what happens to me. Every challenge builds my mental stamina. I can fail, recover, and keep going. When things get hard, I get stronger. I am responsible for my effort, not for external outcomes. Boredom and struggle help forge resilience. I choose discipline when motivation fades. Victimhood is not my direction. Every storm is an opportunity to grow. 5. Practical exercises. Adversity training. Schedule regular challenges, physical, mental, or emotional, that stretch your comfort zone. Reflect after each. What did I learn? Where did I struggle? How did I recover? Setback. Reflection. After any failure or disappointment, journal about what allowed you to continue. Celebrate persistence over result. Daily discipline. Pick one small, difficult task and do it every day for 30 days. Track progress and emotional responses. Optimism. Drill. When facing a hard moment, deliberately ask, what's temporary here? What will I gain from overcoming this? Purpose inventory. List your reasons for enduring discomfort and hardship. Anchor future struggles in your larger mission or values. Chapter 10. Becoming Unbreakable. Your New Identity. 1. Micro-story. Savannah used to brace for life's impact. Criticism knocked her down for days, doubt held her hostage. The approval of others defined her self-worth. Even her posture, shoulders hunched, voice uncertain, told the world she feared breaking. Everything changed after years of work. In a major crisis, a betrayal by a business partner, public criticism, friends who suddenly pulled away, Savannah felt pain, but not collapse. She grieved, reflected, then stood taller. Each day she practiced resilience, self-respect, and clarity. Instead of spiraling, she mapped her next steps. She set her own standards, owned her journey, and reconnected to her purpose. Months later, others remarked, "You've changed. Nothing rattles you now." Savannah smiled, not because life was easier, but because she had become unbreakable on the inside. Every storm proved her strength, every challenge, another layer of calm power. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Becoming unbreakable is not about being untouched by life. Real strength is the learned ability to bend without breaking, to meet crisis, rejection, and uncertainty with clarity, resilience, and grace. Unbreakable identity is forged by all you have done so far. You've rebuilt your self-worth from the inside out. You've tamed the inner critic, rewriting the stories that kept you small. You've turned mistakes into growth and setbacks into fuel. You have learned to respect yourself, regulate your emotions, and honor your boundaries. You stand calmly with or without approval, praise, or easy wins. The unbreakable person is not hardened or closed. Instead, you become flexible, able to adapt, pivot, and course-correct without losing your core. Rooted, grounded in your values, anchored by your vision, immune to most external chaos. Transparent, open to feedback but never dependent on others to tell you who you are. Resilient, bouncing back, sometimes instantly, sometimes slowly, but always returning to your core. Compassionate, offering strength to others while holding your own boundaries. Unbreakability is a process, not an arrival, recommitted daily, tested by circumstances, yet always available. This kind of confidence is not loud or boastful, but quietly radiant. You trust your ability to recover, so you fear loss, conflict, and failure less. You move through life with a sense of peaceful authority, ready for growth at every turn. Symptoms of unbreakability. You make bold choices, uncowed by potential judgment. You say no without guilt and yes without apology. You meet setbacks with self-compassion, learning, and recalibration. Others try but cannot intimidate, manipulate, or shrink your vision. Most importantly, you respect yourself always. This is your new identity, earned through honesty, action, and daily self-leadership. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships. You love fully, but your self-worth is not up for negotiation. Loss is sad, not shattering. Love is chosen, not begged for. Family drama or disappointment stirs concern, but does not define your path. Career. Risks are approached as learning, not threats to your worth. You own both wins and losses. Friendships. You offer presence and support, but let go of those who prove toxic or manipulative. Inner dialogue. When shaken, your mind returns to supportive self-talk and constructive action. Social stressful situations. You remain naturally yourself in any room. Lead, adapt, or exit as needed without shrinking or performance. 4. Scripts. What to say. I bend with the wind, but I do not break. Setbacks are steps, not stop signs. Validation is internal. Fear and praise pass through me. My standards are my compass. I recover my center with every storm. I am both humble and resilient. Your opinion shapes your world, not mine. Challenge sharpens me. Adversity deepens my roots. I walk my own road, calm, clear, and self-respecting. Mistakes and loss reveal nothing about my worth. I choose who I become every day. My identity is lived, not explained. I am unbreakable, not by refusing pain, but by always returning to myself. 5. Practical exercises. Unbreakable identity meditation. Each morning for 1 week, visualize yourself as a strong tree, flexible branches, deep roots, unmoved by storms. Repeat your chosen scripts as mantras. Storm log. After encountering difficulty or challenge, record your responses, recovery time, and lessons. Track your pattern of bouncing back. Bold action practice. Identify one area where you still play small out of fear. Take a bold action, apply, speak up, set a new boundary, and note your experience. Core value audit. List your top 5 non-negotiable values. Revisit them in each tough decision. Compassion. Expansion. Offer support to someone else, sharing your new mindset and tools, not to fix them but to affirm your own unbreakable growth. Conclusion. You started this journey looking for confidence. You may have felt fragile, uncertain, or weighed down by your past. But step by step, you have rebuilt something far greater than outward boldness. You have forged an unbreakable identity. Unshakable confidence does not mean you never doubt, never struggle, or never stumble. It means you know how to rise, how to recognize your worth, rewrite your story, weather any storm, and return to your core values in times of chaos. You now understand the mechanics of identity, how it's built, attacked, and made whole again. You have learned to tame the inner critic, reframe failure, and respect yourself through action, not just aspiration. You have practiced the discipline of overcoming fear and self-doubt, and have trained your mind to validate itself rather than chase approval. Mistakes no longer define you. Boundaries are no longer walls, but signs of self-respect. Vulnerability is no longer a weakness, but a bridge to deeper strength and presence. Every day you show up, act, and choose your direction, you reinforce a new identity, one that cannot be shaken by anyone or anything. Let your confidence shine in your quiet resolve, your ability to bounce back, your willingness to lead yourself first. Others will feel it. Some may challenge it. Many will be inspired by it. The storms will come, but you are now the anchor in every storm. Thank you for listening. If this audiobook brought you strength or clarity, please consider liking this audio and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps this message reach others who need it. Stay strong, stay grounded, and remember, you are the anchor in every storm. If this audiobook has brought you clarity, strength, or peace, consider supporting the channel so more people can find this message. Please like this audio and subscribe. Your support helps this work reach those who feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unprotected, and gives them a path back to calm, confidence, and emotional freedom. Thank you for listening. Stay grounded. Stay wise. You are the anchor in every storm.